With the NBA restart occurring tomorrow night, I thought it'd be a great time to go over the X Factor for each team in the bubble. But real quick before we get into the video, I want to ask everybody who enjoys our content to subscribe to the channel since we're trying to hit our goal of 500 subscribers by September. Also, with the NBA restarting, we plan to pump out a bunch of videos in these upcoming weeks, and don't forget to leave a like since it helps our videos do better in YouTube's algorithm. This will end up being a two-part video where I go over the Western Conference today and the Eastern Conference within the next few days. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. To start off, I want to quickly go over the teams outside of the playoffs looking in. Starting off with the Phoenix Suns, who realistically don't have much of a shot at the postseason, I have Aaron Baines their X Factor, just because if he could hit his 3-point shot, then I think he'd be a huge help for them. Next is the San Antonio Spurs, where I have DeJounte Murray. Murray is coming off an ACL tear for the year before and didn't have the greatest 2019 season, but he could be a great help in a playoff push if he can get going on the offensive side of the ball since we already know what he can do defensively. Next is the Sacramento Kings, and my pick is Harrison Barnes because we all know how much he chokes in the postseason from his time at Golden State. Now from the New Orleans Pelicans is Lonzo Ball. It's just a matter if he can keep it going from the 3-point land like he did at the end of the regular season. And the last of the non-playoff teams is the Portland Trail Blazers, and my pick for them is Carmelo Anthony, and if he could pick it up on the defensive side of the ball since he did lose all that weight. Now let's get into the teams that are actually in the playoffs, starting with the 8th seed in the Memphis Grizzlies. The X factor for them has got to be Jaren Jackson Jr. The big reason for that is how much foul trouble he gets into. So far this season, he has fouled out 8 games out of the 54 he has played, and had another 15 games with 5 fouls. That means he's fouling out of a staggering 15% of his games. This is huge because Jackson is actually a really good defender and has lots of potential on the defensive side of the ball. But if he can't get his foul trouble under control, Anthony Davis will have a field day with him in the first round. Besides his foul trouble, I think he is going to give AD a problem on the offensive side of the ball in the postseason, and I also think that Memphis is a really good matchup for the Lakers, and I think they should give him a run for their money. The next team is the Dallas Mavericks, and my pick for them has to be Dorian Finney-Smith. This season, Smith is averaging 9.3 points per game on splits of 46, 37, and 72, and a true shooting percentage of 59%. But his real value comes on defense, where he has a defensive rating of 109 and has held his opponents to a 41% field goal percentage and a 31% three-point percentage. He's really going to come into play if the Mavs have to play a team like the Lakers or the Clippers in the playoffs, where he'll have to guard LeBron or Kawhi. Now going on to the Houston Rockets, I have Robert Covington as our X Factor. This is for the same reason as Dallas. They still have a shot of moving up or down the standings, which could potentially match him up with the Clippers, forcing Rocco to guard Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. He's also going to be a threat shooting the 3-point ball, as he's hitting 3 threes per game while shooting 35% from behind the arc. I want to pick PJ Tucker since at 6'5" he's going to be matched up with the likes of AD, Jokic, Rudy Gobert, Steven Adams. Next will be the 5th seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Their X factor for the postseason is 100% going to be Danilo Gallinari just for the fact that over his career he has been awful in the playoffs. He's only ever been to the playoffs 3 times, twice with Denver and 1 with LA last season. In those runs, he's never made it out of the first round. In those 3 years, he averaged 15 points per game, shooting 36% from the field, 29% from 3, and an abysmal true shooting percentage of 48%. His defense is also going to come into play since he is really no better than an average defender and has a chance to be matched up with Kawhi or LeBron. Now he can truly be huge for this team in the playoffs if he just plays like he did in the regular season, but I wouldn't expect much. Up next is the Utah Jazz. The X factor for them isn't one specific player in my opinion, but if I had to pick one guy it'd be Jordan Clarkson. But my pick is Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell's relationship. Obviously, we all know the fallout that happened in spring over the Corona situation, and it seems like these two are always in the headlines for something. Just the other day, there were reports that Rudy Gobert doesn't want the offense centered around Donovan Mitchell anymore. Mitchell has also said that he doesn't know if them two will be able to get along anymore. This showed last night too in their first game back. Yeah, they beat the Pelicans, but they still did not look great outside of Jordan Clarkson and Royce O'Neal. Either way, I don't see them going far in the playoffs anyway, especially if they face Houston or OKC, but that's my pick for them. At the 3rd seed is the Denver Nuggets, and my choice for them was originally Paul Millsap, but after those scrimmages last week, it's gotta be Bol Bol. He was incredible in the games he played in and brings another scoring threat to this team. Everything relies on him being healthy though. This regular season, he did not play a single minute of NBA basketball. Though if he can stay healthy and perform come playoff time, the Nuggets might be able to contend for a title. I mean, just look at what he did against the Wizards the other day.
field goal percentage team, over 50%. Number 13
Get out of here.
field goal percentage team. So, they were looking to make strides in that area.
Overall though, before the scrimmages, without him, I thought this team would go really deep, but after seeing what Bull and MPJ did in the scrimmages, I'm really excited to see this team play. Now we're on to the 2C and the Clippers, and my pick for them is Paul George. The big reason for this is his health and how he performed in the playoffs over his career. He is still nursing that right shoulder injury that happened just over a year ago, hence the fact that he has been load managing the whole year. He has also just been incredible in the playoffs over his career. Between the battles with LeBron and the Heat, to even last year when he put up great numbers against Portland while being hurt. If he could perform at that MVP level like he did just over a year ago, I don't see anybody stopping this team. Now last but definitely not least is the 1 seed Lakers. And my pick for them has got to be Dion Waiters or J.R. Smith. Both were recently picked up to replace Rondo and Avery Bradley, who are out for injury and family issues. We all know what JR and Dion can do at their highest level, but it's just a matter if they can play at that level. I mean, they both did take 2 years off of basketball. But now with them being in the bubble, I don't see them getting in much trouble, so I can see them performing really well. But to wrap things up, let me know down below if you think I'm right or wrong about my picks. Also make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. With that out of the way, thanks for watching.